Second race of the day then for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Catch Championship. Early on it was a dominant win by 18.5 seconds for Andrew Thorpe. He lines up third for this one. It's Ted Cooper and Lee Scott on the front row of the grid as the red lights go out now and the race gets underway. The driver's looking into the bright sunshine for the first time today. Good start there by Cooper from pole position, and Thorpe trying to get a good run on him on the inside up into Rich's corner for the first time. Then they turn their way through, and it is still the Cooper car that is ahead, the Nova that is ahead. It's Scott and Thorpe pretty much level pegging for second place. Matt Rosier's right in behind them as well, carrying a lot more speed into the Wilson hairpin. So it's Scott second, Thorpe third, Rosier fourth, but trying to go around the outside of Thorpe. Oh, and a spinner in the middle of the pack, I'm afraid, is the number 73 car. That is Jason Watkinson. Everybody manages to avoid him though, and he is able to continue on his way. So a pretty good start there for Ted Cooper this time in the Nova. Last time we saw it was Andrew Thorpe that made a blinder and was something like 7 seconds ahead at the end of the first lap, extending that to 18 seconds by the end of the race. But this time it's Cooper that's got away reasonably nicely, although Lee Scott is trying to go with him. I suspect he has dropped some ballast out of the car after the last race with a relatively lowly finish in the earlier race, so that may have helped him a little bit there. He's in second place, Rosier in third in number 2. Rosier really needs to finish ahead of Lee Scott to try and stand his best chance of taking the championship to the deciding meeting at Snetterton, at Silverstone. We were at Snetterton, at Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. Thorpe there in 4th place in the number 9 car, and then a bit of a gap back to 5th place at the moment. We'll try and pick up who that is in just a moment. There is Cooper heading down the Bentley Straight then in that Nova, and he has been a long time supporter of Classic Stock Catch, but rarely has he well, he has had a number of podiums but not always race wins. There is the battle going on just behind, so it's 4th for the lead, and it is quite a big gap back, isn't it? Is there anyone else in this race? Yes, there is. It is Matthew Stubbington in 5th, and then that's Stuart Place in 6th position, I think. So making their way through. Jason Wood trying to make a move on his teammates, effectively. Martin Rogers unable to do so at the bomb hole, and the leaders head back through Coram and Murray's to complete the first lap. So it looks like it's going to be a 4-car fight for the lead. Rose getting a good run out of Murray's. He tries to get alongside Lee Scott as they come up to the line this time. He's got alongside, he's got his nose in front indeed, has Matt Rosier in the Peugeot, but Scott's got the line for Rich's. So how's this going to play out? We've got that's Derek Rosier that's gone off, Matt's father. He rejoins us, but Matt Rosier is still hanging in there around the outside of Lee Scott. The two of them are still side by side, heading up towards the Wilson hairpin. But Scott's got the inside line. They're about as late as each other on the brakes, I think, through there. And Scott has, for the moment, got that done. But Rosier there in 3rd, and Thorpe only just behind them in 4th position. So really nice scrap, but he's starting to let Ted Cooper get away. There's only 45 100ths to the good at the beginning of the lap. You just sense that this is a bit of a scrap between them has let him get away. It's probably doubled his lead during the course of the second lap already. Rosier having another go here up to Agostini, but has to get offline to do so onto the wetter part of the circuit, so pulls back in behind Lee Scott, who goes a bit wide on the exit of the corner, and Rosier says thank you very much, don't mind if I do, goes up on the inside and again gets second place away from Lee Scott, and crucially ahead of him on track as far as the championship is concerned as well. As Derek Rosier's been into the pits and goes back out again beneath us. So Scott there in 3rd place now, Thorpe in 4th. It is about a 5-second gap back to 5th place car, which last time we saw was Matthew Stubbington. I think it still probably is Matthew Stubbington. That's one of 5th place as the wind picks up here at Snetterton now. Really quite a breezy late afternoon. So Cooper making his way down the Bentley Straight towards us in that Nova. These classic stock catches from the early 90s, late 1980s, putting on as good show as they always do, with Rosier now trying to hunt down Cooper, and a bit of a moment there as well in the lead.
Yeah, Cooper got out over the curbs, didn't he, at Nelson. It just flicked him a little bit sideways. It might have lost him a tenth or two. He only had 0.45 advantage at the end of the first lap, and it's barely that now because Matt Rosier coming on strong in the Peugeot 205 GTI, best handling hot hatch of its day.
Yeah, Rosier got the best lap in the first race in very different conditions. There's a 2:55.44. The stunning start lap here was a 2:38.40, and they're side by side for the lead. And it's Rosier that cuts the beam ahead this time to the tune of 9/100ths of a second. So it's Rosier, fastest lap in the early race, now leads this one, and he's got a car between himself and his championship rival Lee Scott as well, which could well be crucial as far as the championship is concerned. So Rosier, Cooper, Scott now the order. A battle further back that involves the 89 car of Richard Kelsall. He's just lost out to Martin Rogers there, going into Richard. So Rogers up into 8th position as a result of that in the Peugeot Fiesta XR2i. Back a position. Then Jason Wood also involved in that scrap as well in number 41. Another Nova. So you've got Nova's 2nd and 10th at the moment. Marcus says. We've got Rosier out in front. Is he getting away? The answer, looking out the window, appears to be yes.
Looks that way, but it's all relative. It's only probably 3 cars lengths, something like that. And we've got battles everywhere going on here. We've got... that's further back down, isn't it?
That's Wood up the inside of Kelsall there.
Yeah, that's the battle behind it.
That's 8th, 9th, 10th, that scrap.
Yeah, that's Kelsall, isn't it? In that black and white striped car, and the other little car, the 41 there, which is Jason Wood.
Yeah, so that's one of the PDC entered cars. 6:14 left to go in this race, so we're well into the 3rd lap here.
Well, it's the Pioneer team Peugeot. Yes, we've seen works cars in their stripes, and now the Pioneer liveried one.
Yeah, there's Matthew Stubbington, still there in, I think he's still there in 5th position at least. Relatively on his own, he's about 5 seconds behind the leaders, and is a couple of seconds clear of Stuart Place at the moment. The
Rosier has 10 car lengths coming down into Murray's. And there's Andrew Thorpe with the green and black Citroen winner of the race in the wet earlier on.
Yeah, and he's 4th this time out, so clearly the wet more well suited. That 1.4 litre car, everyone else in a 1.6. We've seen those AXs go well here at Snetterton in the past. The lead has got themselves pretty much equidistant up the pit straight now, but Jason Wood is side by side with Richard Kelsall now for 9th position as they come up to the line, and it's Jason Wood who's just got his nose in front now in the number 41 car, so Kelsall drops down to 10th place. Best lap of the race so far has gone to Stubbington, actually, a 2:26.61 for him. That record is to Matt Rosier, a 2:23.10. Probably still not quite ideal conditions yet, so we're not going to see that trouble today. Look at that, he's got 3 wheeling his way through Palmer, the left rear lifting off the ground, so only 3 wheels, 3 tyres doing any work through that corner. Head down to Agostini once more. As Cooper looks a little bit out of shape there, I thought, as we just caught that quite low.
They're closer to Cooper, aren't they? Because that's not what it was at the start line, which is about 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it was, wasn't it? So they're closing in on Cooper, and Rosier getting away from him, I think. And just have a look at my infamous spreadsheet and just try and work out what this result might do to the championship, because at the minute Matt Rose is on for 25 points and Lee Scott's on for 20. So yep, that would mean the championship is still just alive as they head to Silverstone, but only just. Yeah.
That's if they finish 1 and 3.
Yeah, if they do, but Lee Scott closer now to Cooper. I think it would still be alive even with Scott up to 2nd place. So providing Rosier finishes ahead, I think it will go mathematically at least down to Silverstone.
That's a double header as well.
It is now.
Smoking, isn't it?
Yeah, something
Citroen.
Something coming out of the X. That 3 wheels as well through the bomb hole. So what kind of substance that might be putting out? Not quite clear. Coram and Murray's then for the race leaders as we zoom in on Thorpe. Possibly it's only an intermittent issue through certain types of corner or whatever that issue makes itself apparent. Over the line, so I reckon we'll get 3 more laps out of this to make it a 7-lap race in the drive. 1.59 seconds now the lead for Matt Rosier, and he has not done the best lap of the race because he did a 2:26.61 and Stubbington did a 2:26.58. But actually all of his first 5 there lapped within about a quarter of a second of one another. So it's really, really close and really very competitive racing in this Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Cats Championship. All of those doing their personal best lap times. Stuart placed the first driver that didn't on that lap. He was a few hundredths outside his best in second position, number 87. There's Cooper, and Lee Scott, multiple champion in Classic Stock Cats. He's not one to give up, and I think he'd really like to get this championship done and dusted before Silverstone if he can, and he'll know that probably needs to get ahead of Ted Cooper if that's going to work out for him. Thorpe still there as well though, and Stubbington is closing in steadily on that leading group. He was 2 seconds behind at the beginning of the lap. I think that's come down now.
Yeah, Stubbington's got fastest lap about 300th, hasn't he, or something like that. There's absolutely nothing in it.
So Cooper, Scott and the slightly smoky or whatever that is coming out of the car, Thorpe, together.
Yeah, when it leans into the corner there's definitely a bit more smoke, and that was down at the bomb hole.
Well, that's Williams, the right hand.
No, it's coming out of Williams,
yeah, onto the Bentley straight, which is where they are now, under the vehicle bridge, led by Matt Rosier, ever more comfortably it would seem, in his Peugeot 205. He's not had a win yet this season, has he? So he's looking for his first one of the year here, which is unusual. He's had 6 podium finishes, but yet to win, although I'd say he's still very much in for now in championship contention.
If that is slightly oily, the Citroen, then Matt Stubbington behind will definitely be able to smell it and probably see witness marks on his windscreen.
Yeah, absolutely interesting to see when they come down the pit lane at the end of the race to see if there's any telltale signs there. It might also sort of prevent him getting as close to Thorpe as he would like to try and get past him.
He's fallen away a bit, hasn't he, this time, Thorpe, in 4th place. But there's Ted Cooper in the Nova.
2 laps to go as Rosier crosses the line once again to complete 5 laps, half a minute of the times element left, and his gap has increased now to 2.29 seconds, but it's Lee Scott in 3rd place that's actually done the best lap of the race. So there's another point for him, a 2:26.12. Rosier 22:26.13. So if the season is decided by the fastest lap at Snetterton, it's all been done by 100th of a second. Times element of the race running out. We've got Phil Potts there in 7th, Martin Rogers 8th, Jason Wood 9th, Richard Kelsall in 10th place. As we had 18 cars start this race, we lost 1 or 2 after the earlier race, unfortunately. So a good, healthy field for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Catches. Paul Brock just crossed the line there in the number 26 car, running in 12th place. The leaders making their way out of Agostini now. Nose to tail, I can see, for 2nd position. There they are. Ted Cooper, number 4, and Lee Scott, number 1. And looks like Lee Scott might be about to make a move, Marcus.
Yeah, he's just tracking him now, and he just needs to get himself into a situation where he can get just a little bit quicker up one of the corners, bring him onto the back bumper, and then maybe pick up a toe. But Cooper is... his car seems quite nimble, perhaps a little bit nimbler than the Ford.
Yes, it was interesting listening to Paul Thorpe, who sometimes joins us in the commentary box for these races. He had his first race for a long time at Donington a few weeks ago in one of the Novas, and he said the Novas are really a good car for all conditions, effectively, in all circuits, based on what he'd seen driving one for the first time, compared to cars that he'd driven before, like the Fiesta.
And that's Stubbington right with Thorpe, isn't it?
The 4th place as well, and they're going to get alongside, I think, maybe towards the bomb hole or halfway alongside. Not quite. So they're right with him now as they race through the evening sunshine. So that has dropped them back off Cooper and Scott, though, as they've been drawn into battle with one another. So we will be moving on to the final lap this time. to make it a 7-lap race for the Classic stock catches. Up to the line goes Rosier, and he was ahead by 2.2 seconds. That leader's gone out again, I fancy, to 3.2 seconds now. He's in a 2:25.13 and Scott's in a 2:25.97.
And Stubbington going past on the inside down towards Riches, and he's made it. They were almost bum drafting going past the pits, NASCAR style.
And yes, he's got that move done going into Riches' corner, so Stubbington goes 4th. And he, coming into this weekend, was lying 6th in the championship, a win, but he's been second.
He was overtaken momentarily on the way into the hairpin at Wilson, but Thorpe ran a bit wide, lost out as a result of that.
Yeah. Now Scott not as close to Cooper as he was a lap ago here. So Cooper looking marginally more secure in second position. You wouldn't stake your house on it, but he's looking a bit more comfortable in P2 at the moment, well behind Rosie, so Rosie is not a concern now for either of these drivers. He's gone off and done his own thing. He's probably going to get the fastest lap as well. Yeah,
Scott's very good in that the infield section, and he's now closer to Cooper than he's been for a very long time.
Yeah, so heading towards Oggy, so this is about halfway round the final lap now. And Rosier ahead of these two. And Cooper driving a good race here, not having to do anything particularly fancy or particularly robust to keep Scott at bay. And being an experienced driver, he knows the last thing he'd need to do is to do anything daft in these circumstances. He'd like to wrap the championship up today, but we're still another meeting to come.
Yes, if he doesn't, he doesn't, and he's been there right the way to the end before.
Yeah, we'll look forward to Decider at Silverstone. Matt Rosier, as we said, done the fastest lap of the race at 2:25.13. We'll see if there's any improvements for anybody on the final lap of the race, but that's another point that he gains. And Dooley going across the line to start his final lap now. So the leaders are up at Coram for the final time in this race then. Turning their way through Murray's, or turning his way through Murray's, goes number 2, Matt Rosier, are racing. So a rather belated first victory of the year on the cards for him. Second and third, it looks like it is going to be Cooper from Scott. Up to the line comes Matt Rosier then. Checkered flag goes out, and it's the first win of 2019 for Matt Rosier in the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Catch Championship. Second place by 0.12 of a second goes number 4, Ted Cooper. Third to number 1, Lee Scott. Fourth to number 67, Matthew Stubbington. Fastest lap did go to Rosier, so he gets the extra point for that as well. 5th place to number 9, Andrew Thorpe. 6th to number 87, Stuart Place. 7th to number 6, Andy Philpotts. The rest still to come through. So championship-wise, Lee Scott picks up 20 points for that, and Matt Rosier 26. So, yeah, by 5 points, the championship is still alive, going down to Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. Andrew Thorpe there picked up 16 points for 5th place, as Ryan Clark's car just limps over the line, more or less. Could be a good battle for the sort of podium places in the championship as well, because Ted Cooper's 2nd place there keeps him well in contention too. I think once again, the top 7 drivers in the championship have finished in the top 7 in the race, but not quite in the right order. So just let's have a look at how this all affects the points in just a moment. Stuart Place, he was 6th, so he picks up 14 points. Andy Philpotts picks up 12. So after drop scores, I reckon we've now got Lee Scott on 223, Matt Rosier 208, Andrew Thorpe 183, Ted Cooper 179. So certainly a battle for 3rd place in the championship in the offing. Matt Stubbington 163, Stuart Place 152, and Andy Philpotts 145. But it's Lee Scott and Matt Rosier that will dispute it in the final round, Marcus.
Yep, and probably 3 drivers at least disputing who's going to finish 3rd.
Yeah, so it's all to be decided at Silverstone on the Grand Prix circuit the day after the Burkitt, which sounds a bit like after the Lord Mayor's show, but now I think we've got an exciting championship decider on our hands there. And another entertaining race, and a good drive that from Matt Rosier to get his first victory of the season. But Lee Scott, I think, a pretty sensible drive as well to pick up the points that he needed. Exactly,
and then we've got, just to finish off now, we've got the BMWs back on track again for a slightly longer race, haven't we?
Yeah, 18 minutes plus 1 lap for the second of the day's races for the BMW Car Club Racing Challenge, which we'll see out onto the circuit in a moment. Again, in better conditions than they had, I should say, for the first race.
Yeah, the classic stock's down within a couple of seconds or so of their lap record towards the end, so that's an indication of how good the circuit is now online.
Yeah, and I think actually we thought the weather was going to clear up. It's actually really cleared up a little bit earlier than we were led to believe by the Meteo Group, or whoever it is that supplies the BBC forecasts these days. And that means that we've got pretty good weather to run these final couple of races in. And that's good news for the officials as well, because it means the light should be a little bit better. I think we're going to have the same things we had earlier on, and the cars will be stopped before they enter the pit lane while the BMWs are released out onto the circuit for their race. Reminder that earlier on today in the BMW Cup, it was, the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, incorporating the BMW Cup class. It was a win for David Kempton, but only by 17/100ths of a second earlier on from Gary Hufford, and Neil Bradley was third, and in fourth place it was Graham Crowhurst, and this time it's the two M2 class cars that are alongside one another on the front of the grid, and that's because the top 5 from the earlier race have been reversed for this grid for race 2. I'll give you more details on that in a moment, but it should make for a very good second race. So we'll hear from classic stock hatch drivers just as soon as we've got all of these BMWs out onto the grid ahead of their race. Hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to at least, well, we should hopefully get a chance to speak to top 3 with a bit of luck. If not, we'll certainly get our race winner Matt Rosey, get his reaction to the first victory of the season and find out why it's taken him so long possibly to get that first win of the year under his belt. Don't let the black clouds on your screens deceive you, because the sun is now out, sort of behind that camera that the live stream is showing at the moment, and directly in the eyes of the drivers on the front row of the grid for the upcoming BMW Car Club Racing Challenge. Pretty good conditions here as the paddock empties now at Snetterton. Very busy, congested paddock it's been here at Snetterton today, as it always is when the 750 Most Club roll into Snetterton and most of the circuits actually, such as the size of the entry that the club is able to attract. It filters in a way that many other race organisers could only dream of. Right, we do now have Matt Rosier and Ted Cooper and Lee Scott heading down the pit lane. They're going to park up by the 1, 2 and 3 boards down there, so we'll hand down once again to my friend Matt Suppling.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, as you said, glorious evening now here at Snetterton. We're doing some shadow puppets down here just to try and entertain ourselves in the final couple of races, but we have 3 drivers. We'll try and chat to at least the race winner, which is Matt Rosier, and we'll see if we get time for Ed Cooper and also Lee Scott, but we'll see how we get on with this one. We've still got the cars to head off on that green flag lap. But well done to Matt. He gets his garland and a winner's cap for the first time this year, as you said, so he'll be delighted, I'm sure, with this. Many congratulations, Matt. First win of the year, apparently. Yeah, I know. I just came around and I suddenly said to myself, oh, I've won. It's not normally the first of the year so late, but, you know, that's the way some years go. Certainly does, and we're nearly at the end of the season, of course. 2 races still to come at Silverstone, but that was a great race, won by a nice margin and in dry conditions. Yeah, well, we had a dry line, so it was a little bit tricky to overtake the first couple of laps, trying to outbrake people and trying to run the wider lines in the wet. But, yeah, mate, somehow got past them all and, yeah, went on to win. And you're still trying to close down Lee in the championship very, very finely now. You can probably do it, but it's going to be a hard shot at Silverstone. Yeah, yes, that's going to be a very big ask. But I'll give it everything I've got. Good stuff. Well done, Matt. Congratulations on that. Let's see if we can grab a quick word, if we can, with Ed Cooper in second. Ed, well done. 2 podiums today here at Snetterton. How was that race for you? It was brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I led the race, I think, just for 1 lap, but Matt had some pace that I just couldn't find. And then I was really hoping for the checkered flag to come out because Lee was a lot faster than me, but I managed to keep him behind me. Yeah, you had to make that car very wide indeed, didn't you? But you did a good job. Yeah, it seemed to work out okay. It was, I think another lap and I would have been
back a place.
Good stuff, well done. And very quick word with Lee Scott, of course, championship leader. Lee, not the best of race 1, but race 2, a better podium for you there.
Yeah, slightly better. I had a bit of a nightmare in race 1, as you probably saw, but race 2 is going much better. The guy's done a great job there. I think another couple of laps, and I might have got Ted, but that's the way it is.
And it's on to Silverstone now for the final few rounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Cheers.
Good stuff. Well done, Lee. Well done, Lee Scott in third place there, the championship leader after the final 2 rounds at Silverstone. One more race to come here at Snetterton. We're looking forward to it. The slightly longer BMW Car Club Championship race is back upstairs.